All right, everyone, let's go ahead and get started. Not a ton of time to get through a lot of material. So we're going to be talking about elasticity today, chapter 5 in your textbook. And when we're talking about elasticity, the general concept of what elasticity is it's an economic concept, obviously, right? We're here in microeconomics. And it is talking about measurements of responsiveness. Of one economic variable to a change in another variable. So when we're talking about elasticity, the one that we're going to be spending a ton of time talking about is specifically the price elasticity of demand. The price elasticity of demand, often abbreviated as PED, is a specific type of elasticity, and we'll give it to you in the equation format first. So our price elasticity of demand is our percentage change. So percent, and then this delta symbol here means our change. And we're going to talk in more detail about how to calculate a percentage change in 1 second. So the percentage change of the quantity demanded in the numerator, and we're going to divide this by the percentage change in the price in the denominator. So price elasticity of demand is simply the percentage change in our quantity demanded of a good or service divided by the percentage change in the price. And the price elasticity of demand is telling us it's a measurement of responsiveness about how sensitive the quantity demanded is with regards to price changes. So it's a measurement of responsiveness of the quantity demanded to a change in the price. And when we calculate our price elasticity of demand, we find that, well, first of all, when we're calculating a price elasticity of demand, the last bit that you will often see is you'll see this surrounded by a giant absolute values. So we will talk and discuss price elasticity of demand already assuming the negative relationship that all demand curves have. Right? It's the law of demand. If the price goes down, the quantity demanded always increases. So the fact that these are always going to be opposite signs of one another doesn't actually come into play when we calculate that final amount there. So I told you that we were going to unpack how to actually do these percentage changes. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So when we're doing a percent change, so typically, right, we have done percent changes as this new minus old over old, multiply that whole thing by 100, right? That's the old school way that we learned how to do percentage changes. This is not going to work in economics. So this is a directional percentage change. We are going to be using what's called the midpoint method. The midpoint method for our percentage changes. So percentage change, we'll just put down here, midpoint. So this is going to be a new minus old over the midpoint between the two. Old plus new divided by 2. And then we multiply that whole thing by 100. So we're looking at the midpoint of the two values as the denominator rather than one of the values or the other. Part of that is because there's no clear direction happening when we're talking about an elasticity between the price of 3 and between the price of 4. Sometimes the prompt will say the price has gone from 3 to 4. And then it would be easy for us to, look at new minus old versus old. But oftentimes, we will just be talking about what's the elasticity in this range of the demand curve. And in order to calculate that correctly, we need to use the midpoint method here. Questions on the general definition of the price elasticity of demand or how to calculate a percentage change using the midpoint method? Pretty standard stuff. So when we calculate this price elasticity of demand, the result is that we get a value that is somewhere between 0 and positive infinity. All right? So because of the fact that we took these absolute values here, we get rid of any chance of there being negative values, right? There's no negative values because we took the absolute value of the whole shebang as our last step. And so within this range that the price elasticity of demand can be, we have a couple of different subtypes. So we have a demarcation here at just the value 1. So price elasticity of 1 is what we would call unitary elastic. A price elasticity of 1 tells me that since my percentage change in quantity demanded over my percentage change in my price is equal to 1, right? Since that is equal to 1, therefore, any kind of price change is met by the exact amount of quantity demanded changed. So we just multiply both sides by that percentage change in the price. Percentage change in price is annihilated on the left-hand side when it's on the numerator and the denominator, and then it just takes over the 1 on the right-hand side. So we end up getting equal amounts of percentage changes, so equal relative changes whenever we're at a situation of unit elasticity. Questions there? All right. Now, if we have the situation where the percentage change in the quantity is greater than the percentage change in the price, well, this is going to be a situation that we call elastic. And this is associated whenever we have an elasticity that is greater than 1. So anytime our elasticity is greater than 1, we're going to end up with a situation where the change in the percentage, the relative change in the quantity demanded is larger than the change in the price. So if you're in an elastic part, there's an overreaction of the demand given the change in the price. Lastly, if we have a situation where the demand is between, the elasticity of demand is between 0 and 1, this is a situation where the percentage change in the quantity demanded is now less than the percentage change in the price. And this is what we call inelastic demand. And so when an elastic demand, people are very responsive to changes in price, and inelastic demand, people are not so responsive. Low responsiveness to price changes. Low to high in terms of responsiveness to price changes. Questions on this?